In this video, we're going to cover Chapter 19 of our Digital Marketing Strategy book for BA 375 Online Marketing. So in Chapter 19, we're talking about taking all of the data analytics that we've been utilizing throughout all the semester and discussing throughout the semester and reporting with them. So when we talk about the data landscape, we're talking about how to analyze and use data, and that is just as important as how to collect it. We've talked throughout the semester about various tools for collecting data, the various data that we collect for digital marketing and online marketing. So we talk about even big data. So big data refers to data sets so large they cannot be analyzed using standard tools and techniques. So we need different kind of tools and techniques. So think about that there are data sets so large that you can't even use Excel to analyze them, and you need different tools in order to work with them. You need to move more into analytics software like using Power BI or Tableau. The reliability of database decisions. Data is very important to decision making. However, we're people, we're humans, and humans can make errors. So the two primary challenges are human factor and data alignment. So with the human factor, this can be where when we're setting up the collection or analyzing the data, that people make some kind of mistake. So we can collect all of the data that we want, but there's zero value to data until we analyze it and use it for decision making and reporting. Of course, while we're in the process of doing that, we can make mistakes. We can make mistakes setting up the data collection. We can make a mistake setting up the algorithm for collecting the data, for their looking at the data. We can make incorrect assumptions about what the data is trying to tell us. And then we also have data alignment. So we have multiple data sets that are collected in different systems. When we try to align those two systems, we need to make sure that they're telling us the same information, so that when we're aligning data about a product, for example, that we're using the same terminology, so we're aligning the same data, that we don't get a cross of data because things are defined differently in different systems. This actually happens a lot, and it can be important to have a data dictionary available so that you know what system uses what term. Our analytics, these are the tools that allow us to look at performance statistics. They can be real-time data about our clients, or it can be historical data. We have two forms of information. So there's server-based data and tag-based data. Server-based analytics are collected from log files on a physical server. This is the original way that web analytics were collected. The challenge with server-based analytics is that it doesn't recognize all human activity on a page. And what problems is if a human visits a page, the server logs it as a hit on the page, but it doesn't log if they bounce off of it or if they downloaded something, so it doesn't give you the most precise data. Tag-based analytics, however, are specific page interactions that give you really, really rich interaction data about how a person looked at the page, what pages they looked at, how much time they spent on the page. An example of tag-based analytics is Google Analytics. Some of the issues go back here. Some of the issues between tag-based analytics and server-based analytics is who owns those analytics. In server-based analytics, the company owns those because they physically own the server, so they own all of the information about it. In tag-based analytics, we're using Google Analytics, and Google technically owns the data. So companies may think that they own that data because it's being collected on their website, but Google owns the data and they just allow the company to utilize it. Okay. When we're looking at different diagnostic frameworks and different data analysis, we want to look at various metrics. Okay? So what is the business contribution? What revenue did we create? And what costs did we have? For marketing outcomes, we want to look at things like engagement, conversation, social listening, share of voice, share of audience, how many leads we had, what kind of interactions we had on our social media. For customer satisfaction, we might want surveys, opinions, product reviews. For customer behavior, we're going to use web analytics. Where did they click from? Where did they come from? What pages did they click on? How long did it take them to buy? And for our website promotion, we want to look at, the cost of acquisition, our search engine visibility, so our SEO, any link building, email marketing, and integration. And these are just some examples of different analytics that we're going to include in a report. The common tools to track our digital data include web analytics, so the analytics that we get from Google Analytics, which is a tag system, social media analytics, the analytics we get from the different social media platforms that we use, our SEO analytics, so our search engine optimization, where we come up in a search, what keywords are used to produce a search, what kind of pay-per-click that we get from searches, our user experience. We can collect surveys from users. We can also look at different web analytics to see how our users experienced our website, and then tag management, which helps us look at our web analytics. Tags are pieces of code that are written into a website that allow for tracking. Okay. The different web analytics we might look at would be page views, bounce rate, keywords, how did they find us, where did they come from, how much time do they spend on our site, etc. Different social analytics are engagement, reach, impressions, shares, number of followers, and SEO analytics. So looking for search ranking, tracking our overall search performance, trying to monitor who clicks from where, what kind of backlinks we have, our link quality, search visibility. We can use various tools to do this for us. For example, BuzzSumo is a tool they will look at. It's a social listening tool, but as part of their reporting, they will tell you how many backlinks they found, if they found any broken links, what kind of visibility there was. Okay. And then user experience. We can do a lot of different user experience. We can do customer surveys, we can have feedback, forums on our website, we can allow customers to report on different things, we can test our UX before we release it and with a focus group. Okay. They're not, most user experience analytics are qualitative versus quantitative analytics, but qualitative analytics can be just as important as quantitative ones. In fact, when you put them together, where you get people's experiences in their words and stories to support the numerical or quantitative analytics you have that just makes your analysis stronger. Okay? And tag management. So there are two different kinds of tag, synchronous tags and asynchronous tags. So synchronous tagging is where one tag works at a time. So these are the tags that are written in the back end of our code that keep track of where people came from, which pay-per-click you clicked through, which ad you clicked through. And you have to wait for each tag to fire before the next one does. This can cause your site to take time to load, where asynchronous tags all fire at the same time and your site loads and there is no noticeable slowdown. So tag management, it kind of depends on how you set those tags up, what that interface looks like, if people are maintaining tags and redoing them when things change. So making sure that we're keeping up with our tags and that we don't just keep adding tags onto our existing tags anytime that there is a change. And making sure that all of your tags are working. Okay, so this is an example of synchronous tagging versus asynchronous tagging with the tags that we have built into our website. Okay. We can also use an outside partner, an analytics partner. We can do multiple things. We can buy a tool that integrates with our existing systems and pulls all of our data into one place. If we do that, we have to consider how that affects data privacy and data ownership. Especially if we're using Google Analytics, that affects data ownership. They are going to take care of data privacy and any data rules, but ultimately Google owns the data and you're just being allowed to use it. Okay? Can we use this tool in the future? So what is the capacity for growing? Are they a reliable supplier? So if I buy an analytics tool, is that company still going to be around in another year? Or, tools change. Some tools have been around for years and years and years, and some exist for 2 or 3 years and then they're gone. And then what kind of customer service support and training do I get from the supplier of those analytics tools? Another thing that I can do when we're analyzing data is attribution modeling. So this is where we're analyzing the impact of different components of a campaign on customers, and it helps us avoid channel conflict. So we can measure this within a channel or in a cross-channel environment. This helps us decide how to allocate our budget for marketing, which channel we give the most money to. Now remember, a channel is like our social media platform, whether we use display ads or pay-per-click ads, or if we put ads on Facebook or within Twitter, those are different channels. So data-driven attribution uses algorithms to analyze the importance of each touch point. So every time a customer interacted with us on a different channel, what was the importance of that touch point? Where rules-based attribution tries to determine credit for conversion. So if you have a customer who follows you on Facebook and follows you on Instagram and has been to your website, rules-based attribution modeling tries to determine where that conversion came from. Was it from the website visit? Was it from Facebook? Or was it from Instagram? Okay, so there are different kinds of rules-based attribution models. The linear model, the first interaction model, position-based model, and a custom attribution model that allows the marketer to customize exactly what they're looking for. So with a linear model, this places equal credit for all channels. So a customer that's on Facebook and Instagram and has come to your website, the linear model is going to put that rule-based attribution equally across all channels. first interaction model is going to give credit to the first channel that the customer used. So if they interacted first on Instagram and then went to your Facebook, Instagram is going to get credit under a first interaction model. Or a position-based model, which gives insight on how credit should be adjusted for different parts of the customer journey. Maybe part of their visit at Instagram and Facebook was part of them collecting information about your company before they came to your website to make a purchase. Once we have all of this data, we pull it together into reporting. How do we report this information out to people within our organization and show that the work that we're doing is being impactful on the overall business? One is to create a dashboard. So we pull all of the data in to a dashboard creation system like Tableau or Power BI. The nice thing about dashboards is if we're using Power BI or Tableau is we can do real-time reporting, and it's quick to update and do comparisons with. Where if we're doing manual, if we're making manual dashboards, we're creating graphs and stuff ourselves, that's a very manual process and it takes us time and energy. And they might not necessarily update every time that we have new data. Another component of the people or the human factor where we need humans and not machines is interpreting that data and explaining the patterns within it. Okay? How do we present those reports? Is it a written report? Is it something that we put in a PowerPoint presentation? Do we just have a dashboard without any other information where we just have graphics and we label everything in the graphics? So one of the main things that we want to do is tell a story. What was the original goal? Did we meet our goal? And what are we going to do next? Explain the what. Usually what and why are the main two things that we're looking for. What did we do? Why did we do it? Keep it simple. Reports should be precise, and you should say it in the least amount of words possible. Now, you don't want it to be, I can't get all of the information that I need from it, but reports also shouldn't be wordy. You're not going for length when you're creating a report. You're looking to just give the information. Use graphics. Data visualization is extremely important when reporting. And make sure all of your data is accurate. Okay? And that is the end of chapter 19.